All right, welcome. So I'm making this video as an introduction to this final project we're going to have for class, and basically it's involving setting up and building a Google site. So it's a website builder. Now, to get to Google Sites, kind of different ways. Once you're logged in, you can go to this kind of waffle menu and scroll to Sites. If you don't see it in sort of the initial options, you can scroll down. The other way is you can literally just type in sites.google. Um, yeah, and it'll take you there. Another cool thing, so you hit create, and then you do in new sites. And that's going to bring up the sort of Google site builder menu. Um, the other way is, let's just say you want to get back into it, you close it out, the next day you want to work on it, is don't forget within your sort of Google account, you have your Drive, which is going to have all of your different sort of Google products, whether it be slides or sites or docs. So this is a way to kind of get into the sites from your Drive. All right. So when you initially open up Google Sites, it may ask if you want to do a tour. It's kind of just a quick overview of it. You probably want to watch that. Gives some basics. I'm going to go over some basics here too. All right. So the intention behind this project is to kind of make you think a little more deeply about the last couple months in which we kind of converted to distance learning, and your education, hopefully continued. So this is a way to kind of just think a little deeper, meaning you're not just looking at a bunch of different articles or doing some math practice or reading some poems and then go on to the next task and just kind of going from task to task to task. This is a way to kind of reflect, pause, and kind of really trying to make connections and see if you can kind of extract some deeper meaning from some of the experiences that you've had the last couple of months. And this is kind of like replacing what would be like a traditional notebook where you're forced to kind of organize your thoughts. So this is a way to organize these thoughts in a digital way. So you may want to call your site, it might be a digital portfolio, it might be e-portfolio, e-me electronic. You may want to call it a digital notebook. You might want to just call it something like, my thoughts. Um, you can call it your sort of like quarantine education. Or maybe you want to call it something more specific given your own interests, your own sort of like curiosities, or maybe you have a particular job that you're looking to do in the future. And this is kind of a portfolio. Portfolio means kind of like a collection of your work, examples of your work, or things you've done, pictures, whatever. And then so you put that in there. So I'm just going to call it digital notebook for now. And the site name, you can make it the same name, but your site name is kind of like the file name. So when you look into Google Drive, you know what's the file name for it. And maybe you put your name on here, whatever it is, you can put the date. So, human skis. Oh, can't. There we go. All right. Now, the main sort of functions you're going to use here on the right, insert pages and themes. I'm going to start out with themes, even though it's the last one. Themes is a way for you to kind of change the font type or size. There's not a lot of ways to kind of edit the different font types, one of the limitations of Google Sites. But themes is a good way to see like different sort of ways to have fonts. So you see I'm clicking through the different themes here. Um, and then you can change the color if you want of some of it. Um, so this is a way to kind of change that sort of like, again, it's called theme, but it allows you to change some of the colors and the text type and size. All right, so you can kind of pick whichever one you want. And then insert is a way for you to sort of like add information. Now, text box is kind of be a traditional one where you can type in, maybe it's a paragraph or a sentence of information. You can change this or the way it looks. Maybe it's a title, and then you have underneath normal text, whatever it is. Um, Now, if you're like, hey, this is kind of simple, I want something a little more sort of organized or pleasing to look at, there's different layouts. So um, you can see here in layouts, these are kind of like templates you can use for that they give us suggestions. So, and don't, you're not locked into this template. So let's just say I choose this template. I hope I chose it twice, that's fine. You can always get rid of something. So I can throw it in the trash bin. Now I only have 2 pictures. Um, so pictures, you can upload a picture that you already have saved on your computer, maybe something you took with your cell phone and you saved it in your computer. You can also look up images. So you can look up Google image search. I could look up like a flower. And then, whatever ones I want. And then I hit insert. It's gonna take a second for it to load. There it is. And then maybe, I write like, this is my nature walk. And then I started to really like look at nature within my neighborhood or something. Maybe that's like a theme of one of my pages. Another cool thing with Google Sites is a lot of it is a sort of click and drag function, meaning you can click on something, try it again, kind of drag it to a new place. So if you want to put this somewhere else, maybe I want to put it up here or something. You could put it up there. I want to put it back. Oh, I grabbed 2 things here. That's okay. You don't like something, you could always hit undo. So let's just say, or maybe I went too far. I'll click redo. But you can kind of drag and paste. So maybe I don't want it side by side. Maybe I want it like the sort of top and bottom. So I can click and drag it over. So kind of rehash here within sort of insert, and I use the layout that they have. If you don't like their layouts, fine. You can insert your own text boxes and images. So different ways. I'm going to open up pages here. I didn't get this one. This is like maybe our home page or something like that. Maybe you have a more creative way of titling it. You can create more pages. So you would go down here to pages, and at the bottom there's a plus sort of button. So you click on that. You can do new page, or you can do new link. I'm going to do new page and give it a name. Maybe this is where I put my sort of like nature walks. I took a whole bunch of pictures. I want to upload those. And you can see here, it's on the sort of top of your website. You have different buttons you can click to go to the different pages. If you don't like it on the top over here, this is settings button, and you can change the navigation to be at the side. So it'll look like this. So instead of being on the top now, it's here at the side, and I can click on it. So again, this is the settings, navigation, side, or you can do top. All right. Cool. Another cool thing is, let's just say, you probably don't want to make too many pages on your Google site. Then they'll become kind of just too much for someone to navigate. They won't know where to start. But you can also set up sub pages. So I can add a sub page, and then maybe it's like by the month, or maybe it's like spring versus the winter time or something like that. I don't know. And then, so now we can see Nature Walk. I can click on spring, and I can make more sub pages. I can have fall, summer, and then when you want to, you have another page and you can edit it. Now let's just say I don't like this background here. I don't know, it kind of looks like a building. I can change the image. So again, you can either upload one that you have saved already, or you can select the image from within, Google Images or whatever other ways you want to find an image. All right, so let me just show you kind of not finished, but in work progress or in work site. So here's a page I was working on the last few days. And so here's the edit function. You can see here, I have my home page. I added my own picture of this tree that I saw on the walk. I took a picture of it, got some information here. Then I have this sort of drop down. Here it's kind of cool. What I did was, I'm gonna hit insert here. I used collapsible text. So you can see here, I have like intro. If I click on it, it's collapsible. So I click on it or unclick it. here's the sort of like, you can see here, publish. Publish allows you to sort of make it public. So here's the published version of the site that I've been working on. It's not done, but done enough. And so just to show you what this collapsible text looks like, you can see here it's kind of organized this way, but I can click on the arrow and then it uncollapses it. So instead of having, imagine just seeing a web page with all this text on it, instead of seeing all this at once, it's collapsible. Maybe you don't like that. Maybe you like the way it looks right now, but that's your choice. And you can always, go back to your settings here and you can create different text boxes or images. Maybe I want an image with each one. Maybe I don't want it collapsible, so I can change that so it's not collapsible. And again, you can always undo or redo stuff. All right, hopefully this helps, kind of just a brief overview of Google Sites. I'm gonna have you build a Google site and I'll put some more sort of suggestions and requirements within the assignment itself. But just kind of start you out, lots of different ways to kind of be creative with this and organize information in different ways and really tailor it to your own interest.